Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind. Open your mind.
Hello and welcome to Gamerus Cleverus, YouTube's first show for the stereoscopic community. Right, we have already unboxed the iz3d monitor and also spoken about its general characteristics. So, on tonight's 8th episode and the third part of the iz3d monitor review, we will talk about the fun stuff, the games.
Open your mind.
Of course, it was impossible for me to test out every single game out there, but I was able to test out several, including Team Fortress 2, Aces of the Galaxy, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls, what else? Command & Conquer Renegade, Star Trek Legacies, and Unreal Tournament 3, and also Leisure Suit Larry. And tonight I will talk about all of these games and how they work on the iz3d monitor.
Open your mind.
So first off, the ghosting. In shutter glasses, if you've ever used them, you will remember that most of the ghosting was apparent in dark areas. Here it's the exact opposite. Here you will see ghosting were in bright open areas with high contrast and vibrant colors. Of course this applies to Team Fortress 2, and I've also noticed most ghosting in Day of Defeat. However, most of the ghosting is limited to the skies, especially where the sky meets the buildings. When you actually play the game and you just try to shoot somebody, that doesn't really disturb you in any way. It's only like if you try to view just the sky, then you will see the ghosting. But mostly the ghosting will not disturb the gameplay, and in fact the 3D effect will far outweigh any distraction that the ghosting might provide.
Open your mind.
Command & Conquer Renegade has also some nice 3D effects, but also ghosting when you go into open areas. I have always found out that older games like Half-Life 1 and overall blocky games with blocky like polygonal graphics all have a slightly better 3D effect because it's just more noticeable than the newer games. That is not to be said that the newer games do not look spectacular in 3D. Right. However, I was not yet able to get Half-Life 1 to work. However, I think I will try Half-Life 1 Source, which is basically the same thing except they have just added some new water effects and some stuff like that. So unless you look in the toilet or something in Half-Life 1, you will not really see any difference. So I will try that. Also, regarding the ghosting, my slight solution, when you are in open areas, apart from just using the standard glasses, what you do is when you go into the open area, you take the clip-ons, and you put them right here, like this. This looks a little bit strange to the casual viewer, but this does reduce the ghosting. However, of course, since iz3d is working on newer glasses that will take care of this problem, hopefully this will not be necessary.
Open your mind.
From all the games I've tested, two really stood out. The first one was Aces of the Galaxy. You might not have heard of it, I haven't either. But it's like a fighter plane shooter thingy game. Like basically just fly a plane and stuff in an arcade style. But the game really stands out in 3D mode. It's like very eye-candy-ish. I cannot of course show it to you, but just take my word for that, it looks spectacular and it's awesome. The second game was Unreal Tournament 3. The game creators that made it, unintentionally of course, made all the graphics sort of grayish and dark and stuff, and they did that intentionally. But the unintentional thing that happened was that because of that the ghosting on the iz3d is very little. In fact, unless you specifically look for that ghosting, you will not even notice it. And the graphics are so awesome. It was the best 3D experience I have ever had. It was the most realistic one I ever had. I cannot compare it to anything. Of course I have not tried Half-Life 2 yet, but Unreal Tournament 3 was absolutely spectacular. iz3d is a very interesting company to keep track of. In a very short time, we are going to release drivers for shutter glasses. Of course, they will cost you something. But the only alternative is to use some 4-year-old drivers from either Dimensional or NVIDIA, or of course by the Zalman. And what else? And they are also going to release the new 26-inch version of their 3D monitor. And they're also going to release newer drivers and stuff. So that's very interesting. And of course the new glasses. So it's like a small company, but it's doing a lot of things. So you can barely keep track. Now, many of you may think that I'm sort of biased towards iz3d, and again, I'm against Zalman. Not at all. Zalman. If you have, if you want, you can send me a Zalman monitor so I can test it out. Because of course I cannot provide an unbiased opinion about something, especially if I do not have it. Like, it would be unfair for me to talk about it simply based on stuff that I heard of in the forums. So Zalman, that is something for you to think about. This has been Gamerus Cleverus. Good night, and continue watching!
Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.